Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the International Women's Day. This is the Women Focus Canada that is presenting this program to everyone today. You're welcome from all over the world. We have people from different parts of the world, and we are happy to have you here. We would like to acknowledge the traditional people of this land, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and specifically the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. As such, we are actually guests on this space, and it is our shared obligation to respect, to honor, and sustain this land that we are on. Women Focus Canada actually recognizes that Indigenous practices of health and well-being has been in place in this territory for over 10,000 years and are maintained to this day. We also recognize the special relationship Indigenous and non-Indigenous people have affirmed treaties signed at a nation level. And I would also be sharing this disclaimer. Women Focus Canada, this is the mission, is dedicated to relieve poverty through delivery of transformative programs. The mission of this organization is to relieve, like I said, poverty by providing basic needs to those that are most vulnerable in Canada, and by removing barriers for basic human necessities that will improve opportunities and outcomes. So the vision is to discover, to learn, to empower, and also to inspire life. I'm going to be inviting the president, Women Focus Canada. It's a CEO, she's a founder of this great organization, Dr. Oluremi Adewale.
And good morning, everyone. A very big welcome from Women Focus Canada to the 2024 International Women's Day event. I feel much, and I feel I must begin today's event by acknowledging the challenges of the last few years. We have faced and we continue to face many trials, from the COVID-19 pandemic to the rising everyday costs at the grocery store. We have all been through a lot. The impact has been felt, the greatest among those that are vulnerable, subpopulations, among women, children, and those with disabilities, and many more. I want to assure you that you are not alone. In times like this, it is critical to lean on our communities, our loved ones, and to support one another. We all have support systems. We need to find out where our support systems are, and we need to use them. I'm here to say that while it is okay not to feel okay, it is not okay not to get help. During our event today, I encourage you to think of the role model that each of us can play in supporting each other during times like this. How can we continue to flourish ourselves and build up others at the same time? That's a question for you to think about. That is the theme for today's event, unlocking growth, our own personal growth and our community's growth.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Remy, for that inspiring start to this great session. And I welcome my co-moderator this morning, Leila, to the panel as well.
Thank you so much, Vanilla. That's going to be very hard to top, Dr. Remy. Very inspiring and motivating this morning. Yeah, we have people from all over the globe, literally. It's so exciting to see people. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today.
Okay, we have this poll for everybody, so I want everybody to pay attention. It's going to be on just for a few seconds. Does investing in women matter? That is the question. So I'm expecting people to start to respond. It's a yes or no question, so it's pretty easy. So we're getting answers. This is really amazing. 23 people, 25 people have responded. And just the poll ends now, so we can continue.
So it is with great pleasure that I introduce our very first speaker, Dr. Angela Cooper-Brathwaite.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about preventing type 2 diabetes in ethnic minorities. Today, as we celebrate women and girls around the world, I just want to remind you how unique you are. Each individual is unique. So the purpose of my presentation today is to enhance participants' knowledge and skills to prevent type 2 diabetes. Research findings have shown that lifestyle changes among ethnic minorities make a difference. And I want to provide strategies on how to prevent type 2 diabetes. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is a chronic condition that occurs when the body does not produce enough insulin or when it cannot use the insulin effectively. And there are many factors, we call them modifiable factors. And when we say modifiable factors, it means you could do something about these factors I'm going to name. Obesity and overweight. And the research is now showing that obesity is linked to a protein called leptin, and the level is on the chromosome 2. Then pre-diabetes, and a lot of people in Canada and around the globe have pre-diabetes and they don't know they have it because they were never tested. You have impaired fasting glucose. Again, another modifiable risk factor, physical inactivity, unhealthy eating, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. No alternative. Non-modifiable risk. These, you can't do anything about your genetics. So if you have a family history, parents or siblings, you might. It doesn't say you will, because you can modify what you do to prevent yourself from having type 2 diabetes. So how are we going to reduce some of these risks? We could have physical activity, moderate to high physical activity, 30 minutes per day, and you could do it in periods of 10 minutes. 10 minutes 3 times a day, if you can't do 30 minutes at one time. A maximum of 150 minutes per week. To eat healthy diets, to eat vegetables. So if you have a plate on your table, your plate, half of it should be vegetables with some fruit, quarter of it should be carbs, and the other quarter is protein.
Thank you very much, Dr. Braithwaite, for that very informative session. So with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Her name is Cedra Al-Shamali.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for that very warm welcome and for that beautiful introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Cedra Al-Shamali. I'm 16 years old, and it's truly an honor to be here among such inspiring individuals, such inspiring speakers as well, and people from all around the world with our shared commitment on women's empowerment and rights. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. Before we dive in, I'd like to invite you all to reflect on the most pressing issues facing women today. If you can just write down your thoughts in the chat about what you think the most pressing issues for women today are, and feel free to mention any personal experience as well if you want as well. And if there are any men here as well, please do participate in this, because I'm curious about your perspective of women-related obstacles, and I'm sure many other women are as well. So I'll give you all a minute to write down some of your thoughts, and I'll also throw in an issue I think is quite big for women to give you all inspiration. I think that community support is a barrier a lot of women have when they present ideas, their work, their visions to society. They don't get much in return, I find often. And believe it or not, I think that resilience and confidence is all we need to overcome all of these issues. Do you think it's a bit too ambitious? Well, let's walk through it together so we can come to the same conclusion. Me and my sister started our own organization in 2012 as 11 and 9-year-olds. Elegant Art was initiated, our organization name is Elegant Art, so it was initiated in the hope of helping all of the children like us who we had to leave behind. All the people who are still suffering to this day. Taking our passion, which is art, we started drawing pictures that represent the situation of these children and then selling them in the form of plantable postcards.
So our next speaker is Adiola Vayahan.
Thank you so much for having me. I am grateful. I am humbled to be here. It's such a huge privilege. I'm starting by asking everybody a question. Please put the answer in the comment section. I just want to see your response. And which gender do you think has the higher population in the world? Is it men? Is it women? Please, you have 10 seconds. Put it in the comment section. Majority of the people are putting down women as the higher population. Wow. Okay. Let me just break it to you. I hate to burst your bubble. So many of you grew up believing that we actually have more men than women in the world. Yes, by a slight margin. All data, all statistics say that we actually have more men. Actually, we have about 50.4% men, and then we have like 49.6% women. So we need to equip our women for entrepreneurship and investment. If they don't want to deal with business, they don't want to have their own business, they need to know how to invest. This is because we want to make sure that our women, our girls, our daughters learn to be financially free. A woman must be financially free, which leads me to why we have to do all these things. Number one, when you educate a woman, people say you educate a family. In fact, they say you educate an entire nation. And then when a woman is financially free, she becomes an asset, not a liability. We don't want them to be liability, having to depend on anybody before they can survive.
So I'm going to ask Shade. She has a final poll for us.
We have a final poll. I'm going to launch the poll now. I hope you can all see the poll. How confident are you that investing in programs focused on women's education and skill development to national economic growth, how confident are you in that? We have different answers. I'll just go quickly through it. Very confident. Diverse perspective from the man that both sexes can use to work towards a good economy, better life. So those are part of the amazing responses we have today.
We have the first question for Dr. Brathwaite. It's from Juliana. She asks, can diabetes that affect women during pregnancy be prevented?
When you're pregnant and you have diabetes, you have more complications. You can't, to prevent diabetes, you could prevent it whether you're pregnant or non-pregnant by making certain changes. For example, being physically active, making sure the food that you eat, you have more fruit and vegetables as compared to carbohydrates.
What are the contents to avoid or look out for in canned items so as to avoid any form?
You're looking at the sugar content and also the fat.
Why is there not equality? Why is there so much discrimination in the workplace for minority men and women?
The reason why there's no equality for minorities is because, quite frankly, because we are minorities. And so we have to learn to be assertive, to speak up, and to fight for our rights. Otherwise, people have a way they've been doing things, and then you came along. You need to let them know that you're here. Otherwise, they really don't care that you're here.
Given the pushback by governments to protect women and girls worldwide, I would like to know, how can we all call for changes in legislations around the world in protecting women and girls' rights?
Sometimes because we focus so much on trying to make a world impact that we are forgetting to start with our local community. We need to start with our local community. Some of us may not even know the people that are representing us. You need to start by knowing who your representatives are and contacting them. You need to know how to contact them, how to submit petitions and so on, so that instead of focusing on the big picture, focus on the small picture, make an impact where you are, and then it's like a ripple effect. It would get to international, and it would be worldwide impact.
Do you think mental or emotional health affects women during pregnancy? And what's the normal blood sugar level?
Your emotional health impact you during pregnancy. At any time, your emotional health. You see, we not only body, we have mind, we have spirit, we have different components that make us up human beings. I want something below 6.5. I would say maybe 4.5 to maybe 5.7. Once it goes over 6, this starts to say you are pre-diabetic.
And thank you everyone for joining. I want to take this time to acknowledge and thank the committee members and volunteers that made this event possible. There's Rowena Power, Dr. Claudette Holloway, Elizabeth Nkbula, Kemi Oduwole, Rachel Prashad, myself, Dr. Oluremi Adewale. And I also want to give thanks to our volunteers, Sade Akibe, Bami Adewale, Sabina Chipasha.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining us for this wonderful celebration of International Women's Day for 2024.
When you invest in a woman, you outrightly build a nation and technically grow the informal sector.
Investing in women creates a stable environment for unity and peace, as women are a link in the chain for growth and survival of humanity.
It is very important to invest into a woman because whatever a woman is given in her hands, she multiplies. And therefore, you're not just looking at investing into a woman, but into a community and generations after.
Are you aware that we need more women in leadership positions because, empowering women is smart economics?
Think, invest in women, unlock growth. Happy International Women's Day to all the women across the globe.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate the attendance. We appreciate the time from different time zones.